Most people know that pyramids were built as grand tombs for the pharaohs, designed to ensure a smooth journey to the afterlife. The Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance, was constructed for Pharaoh Khufu. However, what many don't realize is that the pyramid building trend began with the step pyramid of Djoser about 4,700 years ago. This monumental structure, built for Pharaoh Djoser of Egypt's third dynasty, rises 7 layers above the ground and stands about 200 feet tall. While we view it today as a phenomenal architectural achievement, for the ancient Egyptians, it was more like a massive experiment, a trial run to refine their building techniques before embarking on even more ambitious pyramids. Beneath the ground, the step pyramid hides a labyrinth of tunnels stretching approximately 3.5 miles, which some researchers speculate may have been part of a sophisticated water system, potentially redefining our understanding of pyramid construction. Surrounding the pyramid is a dry moat, a continuous trench up to 164 feet wide and 65 feet deep. While initially believed to be a quarry for pyramid construction, its narrow, deep layout and some sections with rocky ceilings suggest otherwise. Some theories propose the trench had spiritual significance, while others argue it was part of a hydraulic system to manage water after heavy rains. The system may have even powered a water lift mechanism to elevate heavy stones during construction. This innovative approach, if true, demonstrates the ancient Egyptians' ingenuity, but it remains a subject of debate. Critics highlight the lack of evidence for sufficient water sources and the practicality of such a complex system, raising questions about whether simpler methods involving manpower were more plausible. Despite its mysteries, the step pyramid of Djoser marks the dawn of pyramid building and a significant leap in architectural ambition. Each block of stone for the step pyramid of Djoser weighed about 660 pounds, which pales in comparison to the more than 2.5-ton blocks used later for the pyramid of Khafra. If the water lift theory is completely ruled out, we still need to figure out how this pyramid was constructed. To answer that, we need to rewind a bit to the original plans. Initially, Djoser's tomb was meant to be a simple mastaba, a common type of tomb at the time, a flat-roofed rectangular structure with sloping sides. After the original mastaba was completed, builders decided to expand it by adding layers on top, eventually creating 6 distinct steps, each smaller than the one below it. This progression likely involved raising the heavy stones using ramps, rather than a water-powered elevator. Despite advancements in research, much remains unknown about the step pyramid of Djoser. More studies are necessary to confirm whether the hydraulic system ever existed. Still, the idea of utilizing water for pyramid construction adds a new dimension to our understanding of ancient Egyptian engineering, showcasing their resourcefulness in using natural landscapes and water power to create iconic monuments. In another fascinating discovery, archaeologists unearthed 16 human hands buried in 4 eerie pits in Egypt. These hands, abnormally large and exclusively right hands, appear to be tied to an ancient dark ritual. Egyptian art and law reference a ceremony where warriors presented the right hands of their enemies as proof of victory, often in exchange for gold. This act symbolized eternal defeat for the adversary, as the removal of the hand was believed to strip away power permanently. Egypt continues to be a hotspot for groundbreaking archaeological discoveries. Recently, a papyrus was uncovered, which, when stretched out, would be about as tall as the world's smallest skyscraper in Wichita Falls, Texas. Ancient Egyptians wrote on papyrus sheets crafted from the medulla of the papyrus plant, creating documents akin to books. These texts often detailed funerary traditions and visions of the afterlife, forming some of the most significant cultural artifacts from that era and still being reproduced for modern readers. This particular manuscript was found in a chamber south of Djoser's pyramid in Saqqara, Egypt's oldest pyramid, not the ones at Giza, as is commonly assumed. Excitement among archaeologists soared at Saqqara, where they recently uncovered one of Egypt's oldest and most complete mummies. Believed to belong to a wealthy man, the mummy was found in a deep shaft and adorned with gold leaves, a headband, a bracelet on his chest, and a tunic, indicators of high status. The resting place, sealed with mortar and untouched for 4,300 years, added to the historical significance of the find. Interestingly, in 2008, archaeologists discovered a missing pyramid. Over the course of 4,000 years, the pyramid deteriorated to the point that only its base remains visible today. This site once hosted rituals involving mummified bulls, revered as earthly incarnations of the deity of Memphis, tied to fertility rites. The bulls were chosen based on strict criteria and were mummified and buried in underground galleries. The pyramid itself, nicknamed the Headless Pyramid, was rediscovered under 25 feet of sand. Meanwhile, American archaeologists are working on a vast cemetery in Egypt, containing possibly over 1 million mummified bodies. These mummies were not pharaohs or nobles, but common people from around 1,500 years ago, during Egypt's Roman and Byzantine periods. The cemetery's name, the Way of the Water Buffalo, adds a curious twist to the discovery. In another intriguing find, a site filled with mummified baboons was discovered in the Valley of the Monkeys. Ancient Egyptians linked baboons to Thoth, the deity of wisdom, making them sacred animals. However, studies revealed that the baboons were deprived of sunlight and poorly fed, leading to vitamin D deficiencies, possibly sparking the deity's disapproval, according to archaeologists' whimsical speculations. Egypt's archaeological sites also revealed mummies with golden tongues, which were believed to enable communication in the afterlife. Some mummies were placed in wooden coffins alongside treasures like necklaces, pottery, and golden artifacts shaped like lotus flowers and scarab beetles. Further discoveries include a temple dedicated to Zeus Carsios, a deity blending the Greek god Zeus and Mount Carsios. Archaeologists found pink granite columns that likely formed the temple's entrance, which collapsed during an ancient earthquake. Lastly, a golden ring featuring the deity Biz, associated with fun and mirth, was uncovered south of Cairo. Biz was depicted as a joyful dwarf and revered in sacred texts. In ancient Egypt, tattoos often carried deeper meanings and were linked to religious or cultural practices, contrasting with modern-day aesthetic trends. Tattoos were considered tokens of protection during childbirth, or so scientists believe. Around the Nile region, researchers have discovered mummies with well-preserved tattoos, which is a rarity due to how easily skin deteriorates. 2 women had tattoos on their lower backs, with simple drawings that included the chubby dwarf deity Biz, known as the protector of women during childbirth. Now, would you believe me if I told you the ancient Egyptians invented robots? Not quite, but they came close. Among their many achievements as astronomers, mathematicians, and engineers, they also created an eccentric invention, an automated deity. A wooden statue, housed for years in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, was found to contain a mechanical operating system. Using an X-ray machine, specialists uncovered a pulley-like axis running from the statue's shoulder to its left leg, allowing it to raise and lower its hand as if signaling, "Pick me, pick me." In 1898, during excavations at Saqqara near Cairo, archaeologists unearthed a wooden bird. Initially dismissed as a simple toy, it gained attention years later as someone proposed it might have been an ancient monoplane. Nicknamed the Saqqara bird, it was carved from sycamore wood, had a 7-inch wingspan, and weighed just 40 grams. The artifact lacked detailed carvings but featured a beak and eyes, resembling a hawk, the emblem of Horus. Its squared tail appeared to have a missing piece. Some suggested it was a ceremonial object, a child's toy, or even a boomerang, but none of these theories stuck. Decades later, Egyptologist Dr. Khalil Masiha theorized it could be a model of a monoplane, noting its wings' angle resembled modern aircraft. While some replicas built by experts showed potential for flight, others didn't. The History Channel even brought in an aerodynamics expert, whose tests suggested the bird's design could generate lift, sparking debates about whether the ancient Egyptians pioneered aviation as early as 200 BCE. The Saqqara bird isn't the only example of advanced ancient technology. In 1901, divers retrieved the Antikythera mechanism from a Greek shipwreck. Dubbed the world's first analog computer, this device, dated to around 100 BCE, could calculate the positions of celestial bodies, lunar phases, and solar eclipses. Despite its precision, its creators, purpose, and origins remain a mystery. Flushing toilets, another brilliant invention, were introduced not in the 20th century but over 4,000 years ago. Both the Minoans of Crete and the Indus Valley civilization developed sophisticated plumbing systems. In the Palace of Knossos, one such lavatory featured a wooden seat above a tunnel directing water from a rooftop reservoir to an underground sewer. These innovations were reserved for the wealthy, making flushing toilets a hallmark of affluence. Automatic doors, commonly seen today, date back to the 1st century CE. Heron of Alexandria designed a hydraulic system to open and close temple doors. This system required lighting a fire to heat a brass pot partially filled with water. The resulting steam moved containers acting as weights, pulling ropes to open the doors. While slow and uninterruptible, the system added mystique to temple ceremonies. The world's first battery, believed to date back 2,000 years, was discovered in Baghdad in 1938. This clay jar, when filled with a weak acid like vinegar, could generate about 1 volt of electricity. Scientists theorize it may have been used for electroplating objects with precious metals or as a container for sacred scrolls. Leonardo da Vinci even dabbled in vision correction, designing a glass lens with a funnel in 1508. Users would fill the lens with water to improve vision, an early concept for contact lenses. While far from practical, it highlights the ingenuity of early innovators. Feeling uncomfortable, isn't it? Around a century later, French scientist René Descartes decided to improve on the idea and create corneal contact lenses, the future contacts, named because they contact your eyes. Get it? The glass tube with liquid helped improve vision, but blinking was sadly impossible. 2.5 centuries later, advancements in glass technology allowed scientists to design contacts that fit inside the eye and even let the wearer blink. Thanks, science. However, these lenses were still made of heavy blown glass and didn't let the eye breathe. About 50 years later, contacts became plastic, lightweight, unbreakable, and scratch-resistant. Still, they covered the entire eye. Then, in 1948, an English optical technician accidentally sanded down a plastic lens and discovered that it stayed in place even if it only covered the cornea. Imagine living in 19th century London and needing to send a message to New York. By ship, it would take about 10 days. But in 1858, delivery time went from days to hours, a sensation made possible by the transatlantic telegraph cable running under the ocean. Queen Victoria sent the first message herself. Sadly, the innovation lasted only a few weeks and took years to revive. The ancient Egyptians were talented enough to build the pyramids, but did they measure the speed of light? A theory claims they did. Proponents point to the speed of light in meters per second, matching the latitude of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Coincidence? Yes. The pyramid shares its latitude with many other locations, and the ancient Egyptians didn't use meters, they measured in cubits, roughly 1.5 feet. If they had intended to align the pyramid with the speed of light, they'd have needed to build it in Europe, centuries before a Danish astronomer measured light speed in 1676. The Great Pyramid might seem like a perfect square, but it's an 8-sided structure. Each of its 4 sides has a subtle concave indentation, splitting it from base to tip. A British pilot noticed this in 1940 when he photographed the pyramid from above, revealing shadows highlighting the indentations. The lines are best seen from above during the spring and autumn equinoxes, sparking theories that the pyramids were designed for communication with something from above. Interestingly, the Great Pyramid was one of only 3 pyramids to feature a swivel door. Weighing 20 tons, it was easily opened from the inside but nearly invisible from the outside due to its precise fit. The other pyramids with such doors belonged to Khufu's father and grandfather. Additionally, in 2017, researchers discovered a hidden void at least 100 feet long inside the Great Pyramid, using muon detectors to map its structure. The purpose of this space remains unknown. Scientists have also analyzed the mortar used in the pyramid's construction. Made from processed gypsum, it supported the joints between stones instead of functioning like modern cement. The Great Pyramid required about 500,000 tons of this mortar, which remains stronger than the stones themselves after thousands of years. The pyramid's 4 sides align with the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, with remarkable accuracy, within 4 minutes of arc, 1/15 of a degree. Geologist and engineer Glenn Dash proposed the Egyptians might have used the autumn equinox to achieve this. During the equinox, day and night are nearly equal, and the sun's shadow can cast a straight east-west line. Dash's experiment in Connecticut in 2016 suggested this method would work in Egypt, though no architectural plans from the ancient Egyptians confirm it. Scientists have long wondered how heavy stone blocks were transported to pyramid sites. A recent research team might finally have an answer. The University of North Carolina Wilmington has discovered an extraordinary secret hidden beneath the sands of time, 31 pyramids likely constructed along a long-lost ancient branch of the Nile River. This forgotten waterway, now buried under desert and farmland, once played a vital role in the construction of these magnificent structures. For years, archaeologists speculated that the ancient Egyptians used a nearby waterway to transport materials, equipment, and workers to the pyramid sites, but the specifics, location, size, and proximity remained a mystery. To unlock this ancient enigma, researchers employed radar, satellite imagery, historical maps, geophysical surveys, and sediment coring. Their findings revealed that this buried river branch was likely obscured thousands of years ago by a major drought and relentless sandstorms. By peering beneath the sand with radar technology, they unveiled hidden rivers and ancient structures lying at the foothills of the Egyptian pyramids. This discovery not only reshapes our understanding of pyramid construction but also explains the high density of pyramids between Giza and Lisht in what is now an arid Sahara desert landscape. Interestingly, Egypt isn't the only country with a remarkable collection of pyramids. That honor goes to its southern neighbor, Sudan, home to between 200 and 255 pyramids, far outnumbering Egypt's comparatively modest 138. Built by the Kingdom of Kush, an ancient civilization ruling lands along the Nile, these smaller pyramids served the same purposes as their Egyptian counterparts. Constructed roughly 500 years after Egyptian pyramid building ceased, they continue to mystify archaeologists, who work to understand their construction methods, timelines, and the eventual fate of the Kushite society. You may have heard of Nikola Tesla, the enigmatic inventor, and you certainly know about the pyramids of Egypt. But what if I told you there's a connection, a theory linking Tesla to the secrets of these ancient structures? Sound like a wild crossover episode? It's not as far-fetched as it seems. Tesla was deeply fascinated by the pyramids. In the early 1900s, he became obsessed with these awe-inspiring monuments, poring over books and marveling at the energy they seemed to emit. At a time when electricity was still a novel concept, Tesla speculated that the pyramids could harness and manipulate energy in ways humanity hadn't yet understood. His ideas ranged from the plausible to the fantastical. Tesla theorized that the pyramids could store and transmit electricity, possibly powering the surrounding regions. He speculated that their construction involved some form of electromagnetic energy or even crystal energy. According to his theories, the pyramid chambers might have housed powerful crystals capable of controlling electromagnetic fields. Furthermore, Tesla believed the pyramids were designed with materials that trapped solar and lunar energy, creating massive energy fields capable of illuminating entire cities or powering advanced machinery. Tesla's theories didn't stop there. He speculated that the pyramids were linked to cosmic energy, a force capable of spiritual enlightenment and healing. Though his ideas sounded eccentric at the time, they sparked a wave of research. Scientists today continue exploring his claims, some of which appear surprisingly prescient. Modern researchers have investigated how the Great Pyramid interacts with radio waves. They discovered that at specific wavelengths, the pyramid can concentrate energy in its chambers and under its base. Using theoretical physics and multipole analysis, a method that breaks complex objects into simpler parts, they modeled how energy moves through the pyramid when hit by radio waves. These findings suggest that ancient engineering might hold keys to future technologies, such as creating tiny energy-harnessing particles for advanced solar cells or sensors. Tesla's fascination with energy culminated in his most ambitious project, the Wardenclyffe Transmission Tower. Built between 1901 and 1905, this colossal structure embodied Tesla's vision of a global wireless communication system, transmitting information, music, and even electricity across the globe. Tesla aimed to use the Earth itself as a conductor, a dream that seemed impossible then but inspires innovators to this day. Market reports secured military communications, and even facsimile images. Does it sound familiar? It should. It sounds just like the internet we use today, only without wires. But Tesla had an even bigger dream in mind, to transmit power wirelessly. He had already demonstrated that high-frequency signals could be transmitted without wires using his Tesla coil transformers. This success fueled his obsession with wireless energy transmission. Tesla envisioned not only revolutionizing communication but also finding a way to transfer power currents globally by tapping into Earth's natural energy. He believed that free energy surrounded humanity and could be harnessed for the benefit of all. In 1899, Tesla conducted secret experiments and became convinced that electrical power could be transmitted through the Earth's upper atmosphere. This idea led to the creation of the Wardenclyffe Tower, which was intended to be the prototype for a global network of towers that would provide wireless energy to the world. Unfortunately, Tesla lacked the financial resources and investor patience to realize this ambitious project. Financial difficulties and other setbacks plagued the endeavor, and in 1917, the unfinished tower was dismantled for scrap metal to settle Tesla's mounting debts. Today, the site serves as a poignant reminder that even the greatest minds can fall short of their dreams. However, the original red brick laboratory still stands as the only surviving Tesla lab. Interestingly, in 2017, a film crew using ground-penetrating radar discovered a network of tunnels stretching for hundreds of feet beneath the Wardenclyffe site. The purpose of these tunnels remains a mystery, sparking speculation that they were part of Tesla's grand vision. Wardenclyffe has become a pilgrimage site for Tesla enthusiasts worldwide, and perhaps one day, the mystery of the tunnels will be solved. Regardless, Tesla's legacy and groundbreaking ideas endure. Have you seen a good horror movie lately? If you appreciate a well-crafted plot, consider that Mother Nature is the greatest scriptwriter of all. Ancient disasters were more terrifying than any modern horror movie. From tsunamis to volcanic eruptions, the scale of these events is staggering. One of the most fearsome natural disasters is the tsunami. These towering walls of water sweep across coastlines, obliterating everything in their path. This phenomenon is not new to our planet. In northern Chile, scientists discovered a massive boulder perched high above the Pacific Ocean, surrounded by a vast desert. This 44-ton stone, clearly out of place, is evidence of an ancient tsunami. Waves as high as a 6-story building carried boulders like pebbles, depositing them far inland. Researchers estimate this event occurred around 1420. How can they be so sure? There were no written records in the region during the 15th century. By piecing together evidence, archaeologists linked this tsunami to an earthquake off the coast of Chile, which generated waves that traveled nearly 2/5 of Earth's circumference, even impacting Japan. Similar events occurred 3,800 years ago, prompting ancient people to abandon coastal villages and move inland. Erosion patterns and other signs tell the story of these ancient tsunamis. Speaking of ancient events, did you know oxygen wasn't always part of Earth's atmosphere? During the planet's early years, carbon dioxide and methane dominated. Methane, an odorless gas, made the environment inhospitable to life as we know it. Enter cyanobacteria, a group of microbes that emerged about 2.7 billion years ago. These tiny organisms mastered photosynthesis, producing oxygen as a byproduct. Over time, oxygen escaped from water into the atmosphere, reacting with methane and replacing it. This process, known as the Great Oxidation Event, transformed Earth's atmosphere. However, the increase in oxygen wasn't universally beneficial. Anaerobic organisms, microbes that thrived without oxygen, found the new atmosphere toxic and faced extinction. Scientists refer to this as an oxygen overshoot, marking one of Earth's earliest extinction events. Despite the loss of anaerobic life, this atmospheric shift paved the way for oxygen-dependent organisms, including humans, to thrive. Now, let's travel to Turkey, not the tourist-laden seaside resorts, but the ancient region of Anatolia in southeastern Turkey. Here lies Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known temple site, dating back to the Neolithic period. Among its remarkable finds is a stone pillar that appears to recount the tale of an ancient disaster. Scientists believe it serves as a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of early civilizations. Commemorative structures are a tradition that humans continue today to mark important events or people. One example is the Washington Memorial, built in honor of the first American president, George Washington. However, the pillar in Turkey doesn't commemorate a happy event. Scientists believe it depicts a devastating occurrence, a comet crashing into the Earth. The event must have been catastrophic. The monument also contains symbols that align with the configuration of the night sky and stars in the year 10,950 BCE. This date amazed researchers as it matched earlier findings from ice core samples in Greenland, which indicated a comet fragment hit the Earth around the same time. The archaeological site might have been an ancient observatory, where people witnessed this cataclysmic event. The impact was so strong it might have altered the Earth's rotational axis, its imaginary pole running from top to bottom. Such an ancient comet must have packed an extraordinary punch to knock the planet off balance. Have you heard of the city of Tal el-Hammam in the Jordan River Valley? It's likely not, as the city no longer exists. It vanished around 1650 BCE. Once one of three major cities in the region, Tal el-Hammam had a population greater than Palm Springs today. Back then, it was a metropolis with 5-story buildings made of mud bricks. Archaeologists discovered unusual markings on these bricks. They had melted due to exposure to extreme heat. This pointed to a disaster caused by a rock from space. However, there was no crater. The comet or asteroid likely disintegrated in the atmosphere in an event called an airburst. The largest recorded airburst occurred over Tunguska, Siberia, in 1908. Scientists estimate the airburst over Tal el-Hammam happened about 2.2 miles above the city. The event released tremendous energy, raising air temperatures to a scorching 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to ignite wooden clothing instantly and melt mud bricks and metal tools. This explains the archaeological evidence. But there was another surprising find: salt. The event was so intense it scattered salt across the region near the Dead Sea. Salty soil rendered farming impossible, forcing people to abandon the area because they could no longer grow crops. Imagine an island with whitewashed villages surrounded by a sapphire blue sea. Such a place exists, the island of Santorini. However, its serene beauty hides a tale of destruction. Santorini is of volcanic origin, created by a violent eruption approximately 3,000 years ago. The island's current horseshoe shape is a result of one of the largest volcanic eruptions in human history. Before the eruption, it was a single, round island with a towering mountain. Then, overnight, the eruption tore it apart. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and ash clouds devastated the region, and seawater rushed into the caldera, creating the stunning lagoon seen today. Scientists have learned about Santorini's past thanks to an unlikely helper, a juniper tree. Its wood, prized for furniture and pencils, provided crucial evidence through its rings. Trees grow outward, forming a ring annually. On Santorini, one ring was unusually pale, helping scientists date the eruption to 1560 BCE. The eruption story continues to captivate researchers. Meanwhile, NASA is on the hunt for Dyson spheres, hypothetical megastructures built around stars to capture energy. So far, 60 stars with strange light patterns have been identified, hinting at potential extraterrestrial technology. As life evolves, energy needs grow. Advanced civilizations may turn to their host star as an energy source. Freeman Dyson theorized in the 1960s that a massive structure, like a giant solar panel, could encircle a star, providing limitless energy for interstellar travel. Although we lack the technology to build such structures, scientists are searching for technosignatures, indicators of advanced technology. A Dyson sphere, for example, could emit unusual infrared radiation due to the heat it releases while absorbing a star's energy. Of millions of stars analyzed, researchers have identified 368 potential candidates, narrowing them down to 7 objects. These stars, mostly red dwarfs, show infrared patterns inconsistent with natural phenomena, like dust from planetary collisions. One well-known candidate is Tabby's star, which exhibits irregular light dimming. The star's light dips by as much as 22%, far too significant to be caused by a passing planet. Some speculate a Dyson sphere or similar structure could be the cause, though others suggest fragments from a disintegrated exomoon. For now, the mystery remains. Advanced telescopes like the James Webb Space Telescope may help confirm these findings. A Dyson sphere could take many forms: a solid shell completely enclosing a star, a swarm of satellites orbiting it, or interconnected habitats with artificial gravity and life support. Though these ideas are far from reality for humans, they represent the pinnacle of technological achievement for an advanced civilization. Scientists continue to search, inspired by the possibilities and the mysteries of the universe. We would see a constant bright sky with other habitats visible across the expanse. The near unlimited energy of a star would mean we could advance our technology very fast, manufacture tons of materials, and terraform planets within the star system. But building and maintaining a Dyson sphere would require advanced robotics, AI, and tons of money. It would take us centuries or millennia to get there. Now, giant megastructures aren't the only things that scientists are looking for in order to find extraterrestrial life. They also look at the planets. Planets must have certain characteristics to be potential homes. There should be liquid water and an energy source, something to drive reactions that create the building blocks of life. Turns out such conditions aren't rare at all. Our search showed that there might be more than 60 billion potential habitable planets in the Milky Way alone. Unfortunately, we can't look at them directly or land there, so we have to use tricks like detecting water and gases in their atmospheres. Recently, the James Webb Space Telescope found possible signs of life on a planet called K218b, which is pretty close, about 120 light-years from Earth. This planet is 9 times the size of Earth. It has clouds of liquid water but a different atmosphere full of gases like methane, carbon dioxide, and dimethyl sulfide. Regular oxygen-breathing life wouldn't do well at all there, but on Earth, dimethyl sulfide is produced by life forms like phytoplankton. They also discovered that weird wiggly planets could be signs of advanced extraterrestrial civilizations. In our solar system, each planet has its own orbit, but the universe likes to surprise us. Models show that there might be planets that share the same orbit. For example, it's possible if the planets are evenly spaced around the star, minimizing their gravitational impact on each other, or in the so-called horseshoe configuration, where planets speed up and slow down in relation to each other, moving in funny wiggly ways. These horseshoe systems can hold up to 24 planets. This is one of those things that are possible but very unlikely without some help. Normally, gravity would immediately destabilize such systems. This means that if we ever find a star system with 24 planets sharing orbits, it might indicate that some advanced civilization decided to lend a hand. They also might contact us themselves. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence began in the 1960s when astronomer Frank Drake started listening for radio signals from space. Today, they persist. Astronomers listen for leakage radiation from other civilizations, which are radio waves unintentionally sent into space from everyday activities. Recently, they detected radio waves from YZ Ceti b, a planet super close to us, just 12 light-years away. This means it might have a magnetic field, invisible shields that are very important for protecting life from solar radiation. But YZ Ceti b is probably too close to its star to be habitable. Still, there are a lot of places for such a signal to come from. It turns out there are 1,000 star systems in our galaxy where they can see us in the sky. All these stars have a perfect view of Earth passing in front of the Sun, making it easy for potential extraterrestrial astronomers to spot us. So there are over 1,000 star systems that could be watching us right now. If we study them, we might one day find evidence of intelligent life looking back at us. Hello?